Hi there, welcome to this week's episode. This week I'm not painting on location, I'm painting back at the studio. And what I want to do is an imaginative piece showing the escapism of sailing, which is what I've been experiencing, especially last week. We went and did our day skipper course last week. And whilst you're actually on the boat and all you're concentrating on is the safety of getting from one place to another, weather reports, localised knowledge, all the rest of it, the rest of the world sort of disappears a little bit, and you really do get a distraction from normal day-to-day life. It's an amazing feeling, and I wanted to try and convey that in this painting. So I'll show you a little bit of footage for what we got up to last week, and then we can go on to the painting. So here is all the stuff we got up to in North Wales and Anglesey. Port de Norwich is on the Menai Straits, which is the thin stretch of tidal water between Anglesey and North Wales mainland. It was our starting point for the week. We visited Menai, Puffin Island, Conway, Moelfra and Carnarvon, passing Beaumaris and Bangor on the way. Passing through the infamous Menai Straits and going under Menai Bridge at slack water, at low tide and high tide during the week showed how treacherous the waters could be. We then braved the winds and rounded Puffin Island to find calmer water on the lee side of the island. It was so much fun. With the amount of seals there, you always felt like you were being watched. There's one. And there were plenty of white horses being whipped up on the shallow sandbars across the bay. And here's another one. The seals were so inquisitive. Some came really close, but they slipped away before I got my camera out. During rougher passages, it was very disconcerting to have the window disappear under water every now and again, whilst I was trying to boil the kettle due to the heeling of the boat. We got to a sheltered anchorage at Moelfra, and yet again it amazed me how quickly the conditions, the light and the views were changing, all in the space of a couple of hours. On the Thursday, our quiet sail back showed ominous skies on the way. The camera actually adjusted for the darkness behind us and didn't do it justice. We had a lovely stop at Carnarvon, staying at the marina. We rafted up for the night and were treated to a lovely sunset. The light the next morning fulfilled the red sky at night shepherd's delight, red sky in the morning sailor's warning. Strong winds, heavy rains and stormy conditions were forecast. Luckily we'd have calm-ish sea conditions. I spent an hour of the morning drawing for the binnacle on the boat from sitting under the spray hood. We were just waiting for high tide to arrive. The winds were picking up, as demonstrated by me coming out from the shelter behind a wall. It nearly blew my head off, never mind my hat. We got back safely after an absolute soaking, but we'd had a brilliant time with Rick at the Debanessa Sailing School. So as you can see, we went all over the place around that area. We could have gone further, but the winds that week were not very good and it was building up to quite a bit of a storm on the Friday. So we didn't want to get caught out in any of that, especially when two of the three of us were pretty much beginners. Although the person who took us out, he could have single-handed the whole thing. He was amazing. So you've seen what we experienced, and here's a few sketches of what I've got as an idea for a painting. I do like splitting these pages into 4. I think if I had a smaller sketchbook, I'd probably do more than one page, but I quite like them all being on one page. Right, so what I'm thinking is quite a high horizon. That's for certain. I'm just drawing in biro, by the way. And then what I've noticed about the sea is as it comes further down, the waves get bigger and further apart. So I'm definitely going to include that. Sailboat. And I think I want it coming into the painting at the top here, rather than in the middle, because it's what's under the waves that's going to be important. Now, if I just have them flat like this, it's just going to be a bit flat. So what I'm going to try and do is actually, might put another one in there, is actually give these a bit more form. I'm going to try that again, and this time I'm going to instead of having it more rounded, I'm going to have them a bit more shallow. That's not working. That's not. I'm trying to simplify the wave movements. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to a reference rather than just out of my head. I'm going to use reference from the sea state just to see how I can make this work. I've got an idea, but I want to make it work in this one. I can still use these as colour practice, but I want to get the actual wave form right first. Right, I've had a look at some images and it's nearly there, but not quite. And I think what it was is I'm doing the first line horizontally. If I Start with the horizon, obviously, and then take these and carry on with them that way and add others in. All of a sudden that's making more sense. If I then add those little pocket things that I wanted to put in, that's a bit better. That's better. And what it gives me is little peaks in the water where I'm going to be able to put my little monsters. That's what I was after more than anything, is to make these little peaks to put my little monsters in. And of course up here you've got your sailboat, which instead of having it flat, I'll probably have it at a bit more of an angle to make it more dynamic. And these monsters can get bigger as they come closer in. So I'm getting more of an idea now. And each time I'm just trying something a little bit different. Because the more times I try this, the more comfortable I'm going to feel when it actually comes time to paint it. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to have a look at some colour schemes. So I've got cadmium yellow, cobalt blue, ultramarine blue, crimson red and magenta. I'm just going to play around with those colours at the moment. Blue's going to be a really obvious one to go with, but I want to try and throw in some greens and maybe some oranges in there as well, with the light coming from behind. We'll see what happens. I'll do different grades of it. Right, off we go. So I do want to get quite a magical feel. We are in escapism after all. So first thing I'm going to do is just start. This isn't gessoed, by the way. I'm not gessoing it because I'm not doing a materials experiment. All I'm doing is just throwing colour on to see what colour scheme I want to use. So I'm not worried about quality of painting, just seeing what colour scheme works. And I'm starting off on the red side of the scale, and I'll work through all four of them onto the blue side of the scale and see where I can do it in between. So basically the tops of the waves are going to be yellow. See, I'm showing you all the mistakes I'm making as well as the finished product in this. I'm showing you my planning. This is what I use my sketchbooks for, is that whole... It's not to get it exact, it's to make mistakes. Making the mistakes in this is the important bit. Right, you get the idea. So I've never done this before. This isn't like me showing you something that I know how to do. I don't know how to do this. That's the whole point of this bit. So if anyone says, oh, you don't do it like that, it's like, I didn't know how to do it in the first place. So I'm just playing with it. And isn't that what it's about sometimes? And obviously this would be all smooth and well painted. Too much green, I think. I like a little bit of green, but that might be a little bit too much. So next one. Yeah, when I looked at the reference, what I noticed was that they actually zigzagged across. It goes more yellow on the top bits as it gets more of a reflection up there. Then I'm going to mix a tiny bit of orange and just where the wave yeah. So as I'm doing this, more and more ideas on how I can improve this are popping into my head. And that's much better it happening here than doing that in the middle of your painting. You're finished painting and going, oh, I should have done that, should have done that. So I'll be approaching my final painting with as much information about how I'm going to do it as possible. Right. So final one, I'm going to start introducing a bit of the red as well. And I might even add a bit of purple into it because it's an orangey sky. It's not a blue sky. Yeah, when the sun comes through the tops of waves when it's really low and the waves are quite high, that for me is absolutely magical. I love that. I could even do like wavy, like patterns of changes of colour. Right, so that's pretty much, I'm happy with how that's working. So if I get a little bit of white paint now, and then these, I might do like a sea foam pattern. I have painted sea foam before, so this is sort of like old practices popping back into my head. And then underneath the sea will be where you can see, that's where the monsters will be. Right, so I've got a colour scheme, a composition, a way I'm going to attack this. It's all good. So as you can see here, I've done different colour schemes to really cement in my head where I want to go with this. And this final one was, it grew from all of them. I know where I'm going with my colour scheme. It also helped me put my composition together in my head and also the direction I want to go in the painting. So I'll carry on with the painting now and I'll see you in a bit. Here's the painting I did. It's basically the boat floating around with the monsters in the sea. It can be seen literally as sailing is better than swimming in deep waters, scary things in the waters. But on the other hand, it can be seen as the escapism of sailing. getting away from the monsters of day-to-day living. So people may have other ways of looking at the painting, and that I do like that. I do like when people come up with other concepts or other ways of reading a painting, because it just adds more layers to the painting for me. There is no right or wrong way to look at my work. It started off with something in my head, but because everybody's bringing their own head to the painting, every time someone reads it in a different way, it's just as valid. So I like that, and I like knowing what people think as well, good or bad. As long as people have an opinion, that's fine. Right, so thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share the videos and tell people about them. I've got lots of things that I'd like to show you. I'm hopefully going to be doing more travelling once my art course is finished. It's getting so close now. I've nearly finished section B, A, B, and there's only three sections, section C, and then that's it, it's done. And I can really throw myself back into the painting things that are relevant to me now in a very personal way. I can do that to a certain extent with the exercises in the course. That's what I've designed it for. I've designed it to give artists a voice, but I'm still tied to the prescription of each exercise. This one was one of the exercises. So as you can see, they are very open, but sometimes there's things that pop into my head, and it's not the next exercise. It's like 4 exercises ahead, and I'm trying to work my way through it to get the videos done to release the art course. So yeah, I'm really enjoying doing them. This is another one of those. And this one, in fact all of these are from the art course. So yeah, keep in touch, keep watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Episodes every Monday. See you later. Bye.